you find that you get stuck in your comfort zone with things that you're super comfortable with? Do you wish you could do things that are outside of your comfort zone that make you feel uncomfortable? Does the thought of being uncomfortable stop you from doing that? My name's Nichola McLeod, and I help people who run their own home-based network marketing business to be successful. If you'd like to have more videos like this, then hit the subscribe button. It's just on the right there. The name says it all when it comes to comfort zone. It's where you're comfortable. But do you know what? The magic does happen outside of the comfort zone. Because things that we're comfortable with are ultimately boring, and things that are uncomfortable are more exciting. But how do you get there? The good thing is that when you do move outside of your comfort zone, you expand your comfort zone and it gets bigger and bigger. So it's kind of a temporary feeling of discomfort. But it's only when you take action that you can change it. And I want to help you with some different things that might help you take the leap to do more things that are outside of your comfort zone. I'm kind of asking you to be comfortable with the uncomfortable. But the thing is, you've probably done this before. I'm not really asking you to do something new. I'm just saying that it's something that you might not experience every day. And if you can understand that you've done it before and you've survived, maybe you might be more comfortable doing it every day. Now, I don't know if you drive, but I always use driving as a great analogy for starting talking about things that are outside of your comfort zone. I remember distinctly when I was learning to drive, before the driving lesson, I kind of thought that driving was easy. I'd seen people do it all the time. My dad used to drive me to college. He had the steering wheel driving along, turn the wheel. How hard can it be? And then I had my first driving lesson, and oh my God, what was a shock was that. There was all these things that they were asking me to do. Like I had to move both feet, which just felt like the most uncomfortable and unnatural thing in the entire world. I learnt to drive in a manual car, so it was like, a foot for the clutch, a foot for the brake, and then there was a third pedal, the accelerator, and I only had 2 feet. How are you meant to do all this? So complicated. In fact, I remember coming up to a set of traffic lights and the driving instructor explaining to me in step-by-step detail what he expected me to do. I remember it to this day because it was so complicated. He wanted me to take my foot off the accelerator and put it on the brake pedal gently so the car started to slow down as we got near the traffic lights. And then just before we stopped, he wanted me to lift up my left foot and put it on the clutch pedal all the way to the floor. And while I was doing that with my feet, he wanted me to take one of my hands off the steering wheel. He wanted me to put the handbrake on, put the car gears into neutral, and then take both my feet off the pedals. This just felt so complicated to me. And then he explained when we started the car, I had to do it all in reverse again, all without stalling the car. I was just so overwhelmed by how difficult that was, and it amazed me that anybody was able to do that without concentrating as much as I was having to. But blow me if in a few years' time I could do all of this without even thinking. It was so natural to me. Something that was massively outside of my comfort zone all of a sudden was so far in my comfort zone I didn't even have to think about it. It was like completely subconscious. And that's kind of the message about comfort zones, is just because it doesn't feel comfortable doesn't mean that it won't ever feel comfortable. I want to share with you a bit of theory that helped me big time to be able to understand what's going on with that story that I just shared with you. It's called The 4 Stages of Competency by a gentleman called Martin Broadwell. I'm going to walk you through it, and then I'm going to go back to the learning to drive that I just talked about, because I think that when you can take a bit of theory and apply it in practice, that's when it's really, really able to come to life. So there's 4 boxes here, and we start off on the one which is called, and I always get tongue-tied on these, so forgive me if I say the wrong one at the wrong time. I'll do my best here. So you start off with unconsciously incompetent, and that basically means you don't know that you don't know. You're completely unaware that you don't know how to do something. And then the next one is that you're consciously incompetent. So this is that you're aware of the fact that you don't know. And then after that, you move into consciously competent. So you know how to do it, but you have to put a lot of effort into it. And then finally, you move into unconsciously competent. And that means that you don't have to think about doing it. Can you see already how this relates to that little driving story? So the first one being unconsciously incompetent. I love that word incompetent. It just sounds so derogatory. You don't know what you don't know. That was me before my first driving lesson. I didn't know what it took to be a driver. I was unaware, and this is a beautiful place to be. This is fantastic. It's paradise. Because I was unaware. It looked so easy. I thought I could do it. No problem whatsoever. We're all right. The next box is the worst box to ever be in. It's when you realise what you don't know. And that was that moment at the traffic lights when he was saying all these things that I needed to do. And I'm just like, I can't do all that. I can't do all that. Oh my God, there's so much to learn. I'll never learn it. This is too difficult. It's too far out of my comfort zone to even comprehend being able to do it. It's not a nice place to sit, that moment of realisation. But this is where some magic starts to happen as we go on to that next box where you're consciously competent. So this is the point where kind of like you've probably passed your driving test and you're starting to drive on your own. And you can effectively stop your car at the traffic lights without stalling it, but you have to focus all of your energy on doing it. So you're remembering when to do it, you're really thinking about it, but you can do it. So you're a success, but it's quite a lot of effort involved in it. And then finally you get to a utopia that is even better than the first one I described, which is when you don't have to think about being really good at doing something. So why share this theory with you? Because I want you to be thinking about this when you go to approach doing something new. Because you don't actually go straight from one box to another box to another box in a straight line without going backwards. You actually go backwards and forwards quite a bit. Your confidence gets knocked. You move from being able to do it with lots of thinking to, I'm never going to be able to do this. You go backwards and forwards when you're doing something that's outside of your comfort zone. But the theory for me, how it helped, is because it gave me the confidence to know that I was making progress, that it was normal to feel like this, that it's part of learning something new, it's part of doing something new. So, like, when I started up this YouTube channel, I'm like, oh my God, where do I start? Like, I don't know anything about this. It was like, it's okay, that's normal. I'm moving from the first box to the second box. I'm starting to feel really uncomfortable because I'm realising all the things that I need to learn. And that's great because I've made progress. So that's why I wanted to share it with you, because I'm hoping that that thought of being able to make progress is enough to help you. So what steps should you take next? Find something that you really want to do. I've got a great video on Why Aren't I Successful that talks all about the power of why. Check that video out and find something that you really want to do that's your heart's desire. And then enjoy the stages of learning how to do that. Celebrate having incompetence. Have joy in the fact that you've realised that there's loads of stuff that you don't know instead of being oblivious to it. And enjoy experiencing the expansion of your comfort zone. Find the magic. Experience those really great experiences. And let me know what you come up with. Let me know what you try for the first time and how scared you get. I'd love you to share it with me. Comment below and I promise I'll reply to you. Good luck.